interview is for all those writers hoping to snag you as their agent. So, you already answered how writers can stand out in your slush pile. After they catch your attention, what are the top 3 editorial issues that stop you from offering for an author?
Okay, top 3 editorial issues. I think for me, it would just be inconsistency in chapter lengths, which really affects the pacing, and that always gets me to stop. Like, if you have a 10-page chapter and then it jumps to like a 25-page chapter, I can't really hang on with the book because I'm just like, when's this gonna end? You know what I mean? And it really stilts the pacing. So that's one thing I look for. And then a lot of them are really stylistic as well. So a lot of repetitive words. So if you repeat, the protagonist's name over and over again, where it's just kind of an eyesore on a page, just little stylistic issues like that always kind of personally irk me. You know what I mean? I think that's a little bit of a pet peeve, having a lot of repetition. And then I think the third would just be if the ending just doesn't match the strength of the beginning, which I always find, and it not always find, but when it does happen, it really is very heartbreaking, because when the beginning's so strong and then the ending just doesn't match that strength. So those are my 3.
How editorial are you with your authors?
Oh my goodness. I feel like this is a difficult question, because when I first started out on agenting, I was extremely editorial because I had a light list and I had a lot of time to be editorial. And so now when I have, triple the clients of like what I started out with, I'm finding it a little bit hard to find that balance between doing editorial and then going straight to sales. So right now I'm really trying to find that delicate balance. I mean, I'm always more than willing to help out with edits and have a second, pair of eyes on a manuscript. But on the other hand, I am a little bit slower than what I used to be. So I'm finding that my turnaround time is a little bit lengthier than, when I had 5 clients. I could, turn around in a week, and now I have 20, and I'm just like, okay, like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm going to need a little bit more time. But it's really by an author basis. I mean, some of my authors, they don't need any, editorial at all. And they have a whole team. They have a critique group. They have, a freelance editor that they work with, and beta readers. So they have that, writing tribe to where I get the manuscript and it's polished and it's ready to go, so I can get it right out on submission. But then some of my other authors, they don't have those resources yet, and they're really just starting out. So that's when I kind of swoop in and really teach them how to, have that editorial eye. And like I said, it does take a little bit longer, but I really don't mind doing editorial work when it's needed.
Do you think that if you get like a really great story now, but that they're going to need more editorial work, that it might be a pass?
I think so, just because I'm really just trying to get a handle on the authors that I have now. And I think it also just really depends on how much editorial work they need. Like, if I can tell it's just one quick pass, which I do for anyone anyways, I can totally do that. But if I can tell it's going to take, 4 or 5 passes to really get the story to where it needs to be, that might make me, second guess representing them, just because I don't really think it's fair to the author either, if I'm slow. and they get acquired by me, and I'm just like, oh, we need a bunch of editorial work on this, and but I'm backed up, so you have to press pause. You know what I mean? So yeah.
How interactive are you with your authors online? Do you follow their tweets, call them out for being on socials when you're waiting on pages from them?
Oh my gosh. I generally keep an eye on all of them. I mean, if they post something that's a little eyebrow raising or something that I think could negatively affect their brand, I'm very vocal about that. But I do it in a very positive way. I'm just like, oh, I totally understand it's the heat of the moment, but you got to take it down. I really kind of address it like that.
You sound so nice about it.
Everyone. I really do try and interact with them. I love retweeting them, and especially just getting their engagement up and promoting their work, especially if they already have books out or if they have, upcoming releases. But I think every agent has eyes on their authors, even if you don't necessarily like every tweet or, repost their Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, we always have eyes everywhere. So it's always, I don't know, I think that some of my authors are surprised sometimes when I catch something and they're like, you didn't like it. And I'm like, I got eyes everywhere. I see everything. Right? But yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I try and be as engaging as I can be. And yeah, I really just look out for their brand and their longevity of their career. And before I sign any client, I really pride myself on my sleuth skill. So I just find everything from years ago, any red flags, I always do a very thorough social media creeping,
oh, wow.
period. Yeah. Because, you can never be too careful, and especially nowadays, since everything just stays on the internet, you don't really want any red flags or speed bumps coming up out of the woodwork. So
I love that. I'm going to read you a tweet from one of your clients, and I want to see if you can guess who it is.
Stop! This is getting so hard! Oh my gosh, okay.
15 hours ago, about, give or take, one of your authors participated in the Sirens chat. And so one of the questions was, how do you like your humor? Dry wit, slapstick, absurdist? And I just love this question. So the answer was, just like white wine, dry with an underside of sweet. And it's not a female client. No.
Okay. Is that Andrew Gray or David Slayton?
Oh, it is. Which one?
Is it David?
Yes. Oh.
Yay!
Have you had drinks with him that you know this? Like, I just thought that was such a bizarre.
No, I've never seen him drink wine. I've only seen him drink lemon drop. So
it was just in my tweet feed, and I was like, oh my god, that's such a cool answer. And
that is. He needs to put that line in a book. 'Cause that's a good one.
Okay, so I know all agents have their wish lists, but what's something that you're just not taking right now? Like, you have one already and it's not sold yet, or you'd have to pass even if you don't want to, or would you just not pass?
Right now, I think for me, it would be epic fantasy, adult. Although it's something that I personally love to represent and work with, I'm finding that the acquisitions are very slow for it. I have 2 epics right now that are just really going slow out into submission, and it's not because the book isn't great. They're both fantastic projects and they're both so different. I just think that it's just a very slow market right now, especially for debuts. So that's one genre that, even though I might love a project, I'd be very hesitant to pick it up just because I'm finding that the market's just slow for it. So, which is sad because it's my favorite genre. So, but anything else, I'm so open to, and I love having a very diverse list. And yeah, I'll read just about anything. So,
okay. So are there any topics that are off limits?
For me, there's a few topics that I think that I just have generally a difficult time reading, and it's not, to the author or the genre really, but I would say like suicide, for example. I don't do well with books that have suicide scenes in them. I really don't. Or anything that's like violence against women. So like, like Stieg Larsson's like Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. There's some scenes in that book that are just so brutal to women that I can't really stomach it. Anything that's very gory, I can't handle either. I mean, there's definitely a theme here. Anything that's like very, gory, bloody, kind of violent, I'm really not a good match for. I'm very like sensitive to those. So although like, you know, I think, I mean, I think that even if I tried to really do justice by the book, I don't think I would be able to execute it to the authors, you know, what they deserve. You know what I mean? There's just certain topics that even if the book is, you know, fantastic and a knockout, I know that would still my judgment. You know what I mean? So yeah, just those topics I really don't do well with.
Okay. And are there any topics that you're really a sucker for?
Yes. Oh, so many, Marissa. I love tropes. I love like enemies to lovers. I love like the best friend's older brother or anything with like confined spaces, you know. I love those situational
confined spaces.
Yes. I don't know. It's probably because we're all in quarantine, but I'm just like, this is so cute. Like, there should be a great romance here. But I also just love anything that really takes a classic story and puts it, you know, in a very fresh perspective. So I love retellings. Right now on my list, I have a Roman holiday retelling, and it is just darling. And I love how like each book in the series is a classic retelling. So like the next book is Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it, you know, totally follows that like Hepburn, you know, just classy, elegant, you know, style, but it's just on a very modern twist, which I just find delightful. So anything that's very recognizable to an audience, but it's told in a very fresh way, in a fresh perspective, in a fresh voice, I always am a sucker for. Aww. And also anything that just sounds fun. The last time we spoke, you know, I talked about my drag queens project, and that's been nothing but a laugh for me. Every time I get like new chapters for that book, I'm just like always just like literally laughing out loud, like tears in my eyes. Cause like, it's just, these drag queens are out of control. So it's very fun. Anything that's just very fun, I'm always a sucker for as well.
So when will that go out on submission and hit shelves and we can all laugh and enjoy it?
Oh my gosh, it is out on submission right now. So fingers crossed. And and my author, he came up with a new rom-com, and it's basically Calendar Girls Goes Gay, and it's all about a little granny gardening club, and they're about to go bankrupt, so they enlist all of their nephews and grandsons to be in this gardening calendar shoot.
Oh my god!
Playing matchmaker along the way. So that's something that I'm also really excited about, just because I know my grandmother, and she has no filter, and she's totally sassy. So I love those personalities, and especially like, you know, I mean, once you're at that age, you're shameless. So I love how they're just like picking out their hot nephews and being like, y'all should get together. Like in these photo shoots with like pansies. I love it.
Aww.
I love it.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's very fun. Yeah.
Okay, so that's an author. When you see online, you need to be like, get offline and write more. Like,
oh, I know. So I'm really hoping that something goes through, because I think that these stories are just so delightful, and he's a delight in general. And I just think that they're just, especially in these times when we're all stuck at home in self-isolation, you know, you want a good laugh, and you just want those feel-good, fun stories. So
okay, so which author is it?
Oh, it's Andrew Gray.
Okay, and
so
we'll have to find him on Twitter and make sure we're.
Oh yes, he's so funny. He's hysterical, and he's a gem.
Okay,
he's fantastic.
All right, so here is the lightning round, and disclaimer: Lesley has no idea what I'm about to ask. Okay, so one word answer right off the top of your head. Okay, these aren't hard.
Okay.
First or third person POV?
First.
Present or past tense?
Present.
Blonde with an E or without?
I like with an E, but I know it's wrong all the time.
It's weird because I think one of my editors, in one of my 10 billion editorial passes I get, was like, it's without if it's like an adjective and it is when it's a noun, or I can't remember which is which, but so I'm always like, ugh. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce your full last name? Or your full name? How do you pronounce your last name?
Sabga. So, I know, my last name, is so hard. So, yeah, it's literally S-A-B, Sabga. So, yes.
And Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram.
Inside or outside?
Outside.
Print or ebook?
Print.
And anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
Oh my gosh, send me any submissions you want, or feel free to reach out to ask me any questions. I'm always around, and I love being helpful. And, you know, publishing's a hard enough industry, so I never mind being that extra resource or just support for anyone who needs anything. So don't be afraid to reach out. I'm super friendly.